Masters of the Universe.
I have the power!
This movie is one that is genuinely keeping the hope that I have that movies are coming back in the big 2026. I don't want to put it on a high pedestal that because of this movie, 2026 is the best year since the beginning of time of movies being released. But this movie genuinely, it keeps the hope that movies are getting better since the COVID period. Now, the movie follows a young warrior, Adam, as he was separated from his family and thrown into a new world, which is Earth. As he's on Earth, we see him constantly search to find a sword he lost. Upon finding the sword, the story then pivots, and we see him go back to Eternia, where he came from. This is pretty much the storyline or the plot of the entire Masters of the Universe movie. At this point, I'm just going to give you my takes, what I think was done pretty well in the movie, and the things that I think could have been better. A general overview of what I can say is there were a huge number of positives and very little to none negatives. Maybe I'm just too optimistic about everything because I said the same thing about the Spider-Noir show, but I genuinely think that things are changing this 2026 and the movies are becoming bangers upon bangers upon bangers. Now to kick things off with what I really enjoyed about the movie. Jared Leto, he deserves a round of applause, honestly. Cause I was so impressed about how he portrayed Skeletor in the movie. If you're not in the movie space, Jared Leto's career is sort of going on a downhill. The movies he's been making recently have been flops at the box office. They might be good, they might be great, but still flops at the box office. And this movie is looking to be as such, but I'm hoping word of mouth will make it bigger at the box office. Jared Leto really did a good job in voicing Skeletor. The mannerisms he gave, the tonation of the voice, everything was so beautiful. And because of this portrayal here, I sort of could see what some of the fans of the Masters of the Universe franchise were saying, that it should have been a more serious take on the He-Man franchise. Because whenever Jared Leto's Skeletor entered the scene, in as much as they made a lot of jokes, which did land, there were some things he said in certain ways. There was this oomph to the way he talked, the way he spoke, that made it feel so eerie and like probably give you goosebumps on your body. I think Jared Leto did a good job. Like he's literally the MVP of the movie. If I'm being honest, he's the MVP. Like his portrayal of Skeletor really heightened my feel and enjoyment of the movie. It really was wonderful. One other thing that, like, the score. The score. And I'm not the only one saying this either. Like, I think if you do like the movie, there are a lot of things that you agree with the other people that did like it. Cause I saw someone say the same thing, that the score was peak. It was peak. Every time they used the score, I just had goosebumps on my body. And I'm not trying to exaggerate or anything, but it just made it look like, yeah, this is like a group of heroes. This is He-Man. The score was peak. Peak. I don't want to glaze it so much, but the truth is, it gave me the feel of the Superman movie's score. You just have this hopeful feel of the future. Honestly, they did a really good job. I have not watched the He-Man show from the 90s or the 80s or whenever it was. So I can't tell if this is a new score they've brought into it or it is something remastered from the past. But what I can see is they did a wonderful job on it. It was, I don't want to glaze it. Like, this is the second time I'm saying that. I don't want to glaze it. But the score really made me be able to immerse myself in the story and flow with it. One other positive I can say about the Masters of the Universe movie was that a lot of people thought they would do the cliche thing of bringing the characters from a different universe to Earth to see how they adapt or move around on a new universe they've never been in. But they made this sort of a reversal of that. Not necessarily people on Earth weren't there, but when Adam came to Earth, it didn't take much of the movie and we see him go back into Eternia. That's right, there's one of the good things I think would make the movie more enjoyable for the people or the casual fans. We came to watch the Masters of the Universe movie, not Masters of Earth. So it was a really good thing that they took him back into Eternia, and more than half of the movie, I could say like 75% of the movie was in Eternia, and it was beautiful. From how the landscape looked, the characters themselves in Eternia, they did it pretty good. From He-Man himself to Skeletor to Fisto to Mechanic, all those people, they really nailed down the look of the characters, and I really appreciate that. The characters and the world building, the look of the entire Masters of the universe was amazing. One last positive I can see I really enjoyed, which I think people are not enjoying as much as I did, was the comedy in the movie. It wasn't slapstick, it wasn't enhanced humor that you need an IQ of 365 to be able to comprehend. It was sort of corny. I like corny jokes. I mean, the opening sequence of the movie like this, Adam was doing a voiceover of how he ended up on Earth. And he made so many jokes right from the beginning. And just right there, I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. This is what make me a fan of the He-Man movie or the He-Man franchise. I'm seeing people say the humor was sort of a lot and brought down the dramatic moments in the movie. But from where I sit or from where I stand, it was near perfection. I'm not going to say every single joke hits, but 90% of it did, and I enjoyed it. The final thing I liked about the movie, and really, really, really did like, was the third act with He-Man fighting against Skeletor. It was peak. Peak. Say peak. Peak. I don't want to spoil how the movie comes to an end to anyone, so I'm just going to leave it there. But honestly, I think that was the best fight sequence in the entire movie. And that is a good thing to say because it's the third act. You'd expect it to be the best. There was something they did with He-Man finishing off Skeletor. Not that he killed him, watch the movie to find out. But you could just see it were like posters that you could use. It wasn't the highest quality of CGI, but those still frames, oh, it was peak. Watch the movie, it was peak. But in as much as the third act was peak, it was also short, which is the main negative or gripe I have about the movie. The build-up was a lot. It was satisfied at the end, but I wanted more. The third act isn't supposed to take 30 minutes, but I just felt if they had made it a bit longer and lengthened the fight sequence He-Man had with Skeletor, it would have made it much better to satisfy every single thing that had been built up to that moment. The fight sequence was good. That's one I've said already was the best in the entire movie, but it was still short, and that I think people might not like about it. The second and probably the last negative I have about the movie was Idris Elba's character. In the beginning, we see him talk to Adam, advising him and motivating him that if you get beat down, you have to step back up. I guess it is better said than done. Because when Adam leaves Eternia in the beginning of the movie, I guess he fell and never got up. Because we came to meet him back in Eternia, all drunk, being a lazy dad. Like, he was literally doing that thing of the role he was playing when everything was peachy. Maybe that is nitpicking, but I feel if this is how you build up the character to be, as in someone who, if he is knocked down, he will get back up. I think if he gets knocked down, he should get back up. It shouldn't be as a result of someone else coming to pick him up. It is a good thing for someone else to pick him up, but I feel it was an injustice to how the character was built up to be. But maybe it's just nitpicking once again. And that brings us to the end of the negatives and the end of the entire review. Masters of the Universe was good, and it gives me hope for the other movies to come. This 2026 is literally the best year, in my opinion, since before COVID struck. The movie was good. It's not my number one of the movies that have been released, but it will probably be top 10 or top 15 so far. There was a lot of action. The story was pretty good. The world building was wonderful. And the score, as well as Jared Leto's portrayal of Skeletor, stole the show for me. When it comes to my rating of the movie, I'm going to give it a B+. They did a lot that worked for me, from the story to the characters to the world. And to the score, once again, I really like the score. This is all I have to say about the movie. Let me know what you think. Am I exaggerating about the score and Jared Leto's portrayal? What do you think about the entire movie? And see you in the next one. Love y'all.